Hello and welcome to the Kayaking Knitter podcast, episode 2. It's been a pretty hectic month for me. I've had a range of rugby and canoe polo tournaments, but I've somehow been able to fit in some knitting. I actually recorded an earlier version of episode 2 weeks ago, but I never got time to sit down and edit, and I've actually got a little bit more to talk about now, which is good. So I'm come to you with 2 finished objects. I still have the same whips as I had last time, so that's my sock club, so the Grandurgan socks from Stitches and Cream, the excavation blanket, and the Guernsey Genza. I haven't actually touched those 3 whips at all because of my deadline and my finished objects, so I'm not going to show you these on this podcast, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to give them a little bit of love this month. Fingers crossed. So settle down. My dinner is currently cooking. I haven't come upstairs with a cup of tea, which is a shame. But if you have got some knitting or a beverage or anything, sit back, relax, and I hope that you enjoy hearing me talk about my projects. A little bit about me. My name is Emmeline. I live in Buckinghamshire with my partner and our 7-month-old Doberman. I think I'm going to put some footage of him this week, or this podcast episode. I've been being able to start knitting more and more around him. For any of you who are knitters and are thinking of getting a dog, it's been a lot easier for me to start knitting around him, and I think it's great because I wouldn't have been able to finish one of my finished objects if that hadn't been the case. And yeah, so sit back, relax. All the information about where you can find me should have appeared on screen at some point, but you can also find my socials, so my Instagram and my Ravelry, in the description box below. On Instagram, I go as _kayaking_knitter, and on Ravelry, it's the kayak knitter. So yes, there we are. That's the intro bit done. Woohoo! So we'll move swiftly on to what I'm wearing, which actually ties in with one of my finished objects, so I'll be a little bit weird in terms of finished objects. So I am wearing the Irene Sweater, which I test knit for Rebecca from Journey Through Yarn. When I saw her talking about it on her podcast, I just loved the shape of it. So this drop shoulder construction, quite the thick double folded neckband, 1x1 rib as you can see, and I also like the texture. So if I bring this in, is it going to focus on me? So you can see here, there we are, there's a series of purl bumps and a dip stitch. And so you basically get a big section with the dip stitch and then the purl bump, bit of stockinette, and then you get the same thing. And it repeats throughout the sweater. So I'm just going to stand back so you can, yeah, that's a really good one. This is one of my most worn sweaters. I absolutely love it. I think I knit this in a size B, which is a little bit bigger, I think, than I would have gone for. I think I could have got away with doing this in the smaller size because of just how much ease there is, but I also like the ease. It's a really comfy sweater, and I think that if I dress it up with a pair of black jeans, for example, it actually looks quite professional. So I'll often wear this to the office because of just its comfiness, but also the fact that I think it still looks quite professional. I knitted up in some Starcraft special Aran with wool in the shade Fireworks. So I don't know if you can see, but it's like a cream base with flecks of colour, some blues and oranges and greens and purples, and I have been eyeing up this wool ever since I saw it on Wool Warehouse, and I bought it a big ball, so a 400-gram ball, which gives me about 800 and something meters. And I never knew what to do with it. And when this test knit came up, I thought, oh my god, it's going to be absolutely amazing in this texture. And I think it's going to show off the texture quite well, which I really do think it does. So yeah, I got it, and I got 3/4 of the way through the test knit, and I realised that I wasn't going to have enough for the sleeves. So I'd finished the body by then, I wasn't going to have enough for the sleeves. And I was in two minds about it. I debated just doing the cuffs in a different colour, but I thought that would ruin the aesthetic of the sweater. So in the end I managed to order another ball of yarn, and I think I used about 20 grams of that. So I've got another big ball waiting for me, which I think I'm going to use in the stripe pipe, which I'm planning on casting on next. In fact, after this podcast, I'm kind of planning on doing a swatch, because I've got a few colours chosen, and I kind of want to see how it looks like. So keep an eye out on my Instagram stories if you haven't already, so maybe you can help me choose if the colour works. So that's what I'm wearing. Ta-da! I love it. And that slides right in with my my next finished object. So my next finished object is right, let's get, hang on, can you see that at all? Come on camera, focus. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to put a picture there. Basically, I watched Rebecca's latest podcast where she was talking about her latest test knit, which corresponds with the Irene Sweater, which is the Irene Headband. Now, I'm hoping you will realise that this is not for me. No, come on. There we are. Yes. So, this is for my newly arrived cousin's little girl. So I've knit her a little headband to keep her ears warm. It's the baby size sided, so I did the smallest size in the pattern, and it's quite a clever construction. You've got a seam here, some purl bumps, and then the dip stitch, which is reminiscent of the jumper. And I knit it in, let me just grab it, some stash yarn. Is this going to, you're not at all gonna focus, are you? I'll have to take a picture. But I knit it in some stash yarn that I've had for years. Like, I think I've had it for about, let me do the maths, 16, 12 years. Because our next door neighbour, when I was about 16, had a little boy on the way, and so I knit him a little blanket using this, but I'd overbought, so I now have enough to be able to knit this little headband. And I think, so one of my other cousins is expecting a little boy in January. Isaline, if you're watching, I don't think you will be, but if you are, pause now. And I think I'm going to potentially knit up a baby blanket with what I've got left here with some yellow yarn, because I think that's quite gender neutral and would probably suit the yarn quite well. So that's the plan for this. But yeah, so this is the Irene headband. You start off with a provisional cast on, and then you knit it on 4mm needles, and it's actually quite quick. And in fact, I showed this to my little sister, who's already requested one in purple. So I think I'm going to be making another one, casting another one on. The deadline for this test knit was the 7th of November, which I think means the pattern will be out quite soon. And for me, as an accessory, I know that I only did the baby sweater, but for me, as an accessory, this is a must to make, personally. I can see quite a lot of my family members getting either this or a Maxine hot water bottle. So yeah, so that's finished object number 1. Now for the big reveal. Some of you may recall that I'd set myself a knitting challenge to knit a stick season sweater in a month, from the 1st of October through to the 31st of October, as part of the 5.0 challenge for Calibre Audio, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Calibre Audio are a charity. They're a national charity who provide audiobooks for people with print difficulties. We offer both a USB service and a streaming service, for which there's a small charge. Yeah, I really love reading. I think I've talked about that before. And I also work for the charity, and I wanted to do my bit, and I thought that knitting a jumper in a month for me would be a challenge considering how busy I am. And I thought it'd be my way of giving a little bit to the charity, raising a little bit of awareness, and it also means that my line manager gets a nice comfy sweater. And yes, I did it. I finished this beast, blocked and sleeved, ready to be given for work on Thursday, the last day of October. Everybody else was probably out Halloweening, trick-or-treating or whatever, and here I was sitting ferociously knitting the last sleeve. So, the stick season is a pattern by the Crayer Rebecca Clow, and I absolutely love her work. I do think that one of the reasons why I was able to finish the sweater as I did is because I couldn't wait to get to the next section. So, the stick season is known for its rib shoulder detail here, and also the texture on the back and on the front yoke of knits and purls, which you can see really clearly there. The rib detailing continues along the arm and on the side of the body, and then you've also got a very thick 2x2 rib here on the cuffs and on the neckband. Now, for you eagle-eyed viewers, you will realise something when it comes to the sleeves. So let me just get both of them. I played yarn chicken and lost. But I did ask my line manager if that was okay, and she said yes. I didn't really want to have to go and get another 400 gram ball of this colour, because I am trying to phase out the acrylic out of my stash so that I can start knitting with more woolly wool, just because I prefer knitting with woolly wool. I will always have some acrylic for baby knits, and my grandmother is actually allergic to wool, so I tend to have some acrylic in for her whenever I fancy making something. There's nothing wrong with acrylic. In fact, I have loads in my stash at the moment, and this is acrylic and wool, and it works perfectly fine. But I just like to have a little bit more wool, knit with more sandness yarn, some drops potentially. I've always wanted to try Isaga and Cascade 220, but I don't want to purchase that sort of yarn until I've used what I've received. And it's stuff that I've bought out of my own money, so I don't really want to go and give it away to charity either, but I don't want to just use it for blankets. So yeah, so I had to play some yarn chicken with the cuff, which I think is a shame, but it's a navy blue, so it complements the teal quite well. What can I say about this? I hit gauge, which meant that I knit the body. So I hit gauge with the recommended needle sizes, which I'm just going to find for you now. So I used 3.5mm needles for the body and 3.25 needles for the rib. Yeah, that's what I did for that, and I think it works. I'm really glad about how it's blocked out, because when I finished it off, the body is still cinching in just a tad, but it was cinching in quite a bit. In fact, it looked a lot smaller than this, but it's definitely relaxed. So I definitely think we're gonna get that nice boxy, in fact you can see it here, we are going to be getting that really nice boxy shape with the sweater. So I am incredibly proud of this. I am incredibly proud that I was able to finish it. I was incredibly proud that I was able to do that rib detailing, which is something that I haven't, that, you know, took a little bit of work to get right. I wanted to make sure that picking up the stitches was neat. I'm incredibly proud with how the short row shaping turned out on the arms, and my pickup again was fairly neat. So yeah, I'm just incredibly proud of this, really, completely, to be honest with you. So much so that I am loath to have to give it away, because I think it's a colour that would suit me. If I were to, well, I want to knit it for me. Part of me, I'm in two minds. So I kind of want to do a stick season for me with the texture, but then I also want to do a stickless stick season, and I also want to do one of the stickless stick season jacket that it should be coming out soon. So it's all a bit like, I've got so much I want to do, but so I'm just trying to tell myself to stick to the knitting plan that I've made. I will probably knit myself one. I had in mind of using some acrylic yarn, but I think what I might do is get some Cascade 220 or some Sandnes garn. I'm going to knit it in the bigger size. So I think, so this one that I made was a size 1, which fits 83 centimetre finished chest circumference, which is 32.75 inches. And technically my size would be the size B with the 93 centimetres finished chest, which would give me about 8 centimetres of positive ease. But I am tempted to make myself the size C, so I have, like this one, a more oversized fit. And I get really cozy. But that's not yet. That's not going to happen yet. But yeah, it's finished object number 2. Absolutely loved making it. The yarn was in Starcraft Special Aran with Wool in the Ocean colourway. It's such the same brand as this one. Would I use it again? The thing I've noticed, and I don't know if it's because I was knitting on it excessively, you can't really tell on camera, but I do think there's a little bit of pilling, and I'm wondering if that's the wool. But I don't have that on this. But then this has got less of stockinette. There is more texture in it, so I don't know. But I think it will do for now. Definitely would knit this again, hands down. I mean, I did it in a month, and it wasn't just because it was a challenge. And I also think that the neckband, normally with my neckbands, have I had to do it with? No, okay. So with the Lento I had to put elastic, but obviously I haven't had to put elastic in this one, and I definitely won't be putting elastic in this one. So yeah, I'd keep an eye out on my Instagram, because hopefully when I give this to my colleague, she will wear it and I'll be able to take a nice picture, a nice finished object with the recipient picture. So yeah, have I got anything else to say about this? I mean, Rebecca's patterns are amazing, so yeah, just go knit them, and I'll definitely make it again. So yeah, finished object. Now on to my whips. So I have made some progress on the Loddon Sweater, which is the Loddon Sweater baby size, which was released by the Knit Pearl girl, so Sophie. It's the person it's going to is also the same person of whom is receiving the Irene Headband. So I think when you saw it last time, I think I had done the colour. I think you'd seen it, the colour done. And so I picked up for sleeves, and now that I've finished the stick season, I'm going to be attempting to, I think I want to try and get this finished by next weekend, because then I can try and have an accessory on my needles and a jumper on my needles, which I'm definitely sure is meant to be the stripe pipe. I have to look back through my knitting. In fact, wow, I really should do some work on my Guernsey Genza. I can have my Guernsey Genza, and let me just confirm with my knitting plans. So for my knitting plans, yeah, so the stripe pipe is the next one. So I'll work on the Guernsey Genza and the stripe pipe after I finish this. So I'll swatch for the stripe pipe, and once I've done that, I can finish this, the Loddon, because I would really like to be able to give this to the little girl soon, so that she gets somewhere out of it, even though it's meant to be a size 3 to 6 months, that's probably going to be a lot bigger. But yeah, that's the aim. This is made in stash wool that I got from a magazine, and a variety of white shades, but I don't think you can really tell. And I'm knitting it in 4mm needles and was it 4mm? Yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. 4.5mm needles and 3mm needles on the ribbing. So that's the Loddon, which is going to get some love after this podcast, after I've swatched. And my next knit is a test knit. I went through a crazy test knit phase. So I applied for the Midland cardigan but didn't get it. I applied for the Stamford jumper, which was designed by the Knit Purl girl, and didn't get it. I resisted applying for the Crea Bears test knits. I don't think I've applied since the kip. Did I apply for the stick season? I might have applied for one of them since the kip. Be unusual though, because I was working on a test knit when she did a lot of her test knit calls. And I've applied for Laura Penrose's test knit on the Dicky, the Midland Dicky, which I really like, which again I think would be a great gift knit. And then I saw on my Instagram page Thursday or Friday that Lilly Kate from Lilly Kate Makes was asking for a test knit for the checkerplate hat, and I got it. I was so happy. I've been seeing her work on the jumper, which I absolutely love. I think the texture, I'll put a photo around here, but the project she's been working on I think is incredibly clever. And I was intrigued to see how it works, and it's actually incredibly simple. It is really intuitive. So I applied and I got it. It uses worsted yarn. I'm using the Croft Shetland Tweed by West Yorkshire Spinners, which is 100% Shetland wool. It is 166 metre by 100 grams. So it's slightly thicker than what's required, because she suggested using her own yarn, her own Aran worsted yarn, which was 100 grams per 50 gram. So there's slightly less per hank, so it's thicker. But I have enough yarn to be able to make the hat. It doesn't use 2 full skeins that you would need using the yarn that I think it's Axion or something like that. So yeah, I think I've got a little bit of a loose gauge, but I'm not sure. I cast on the recommended amount of stitches. The ribbing took me a little bit of time, and I'm now on the bit of the pattern which you can sort of see, which are these crosses and twisted stitches, which is one of the things that really appealed to me. Like I said, it's actually quite intuitive. I've been loving working on it. It's due in for next weekend. I think I'll be done. I really do think I'll be done. The only thing is that I'm slightly regretting my yarn choice. The pictures that she used to advertise the test knit is in this neon pink. I'm not really a neon pink girly, but it really did show the stitch pattern. And this is fairly variegated. It's called... No, I thought it was sea glass. I don't actually know what the colour is. In my head it was sea glass. Might be Eswick 763, might be the colourway. And it's a beautiful yarn. But I don't think I made the right choice for this project, which is a shame. What have I learned from that though? So, I know that this sort of pattern would probably have been better with a tonal or just a uni coloured yarn. I think I'm still going to love it. I haven't made up my mind if it's for me or if it's for my partner, because I think my partner could do with a new knitted hat that hasn't got eaten by the dog or the moths or whatever. But we'll see. So yeah, so this is it. This is she, it, them. I think it's going to fit perfectly, to be honest with you. I think my gauge is ever so slightly looser. The ribbing was done in 4mm and the main hat was done in 4.5. If I were to make this hat again, I would probably go down to 3.5 for the ribbing and do 4mm for the body, main bit of the hat. I'm really enjoying working on this. So yeah, so in a way, that is me, which means it feels like a really short episode. I don't know how I managed to film an hour last time. I think I babbled a lot, which admittedly I've done kind of here already. But yeah, my big knitting challenge is done. I'm looking forward to be able to talk to you a little bit more about my projects. I have one yarny advent, which arrived this week, which I opened the box thinking that being within another box, but it wasn't. I resisted the urge to undo all the wrapping and have a look. I really want it to be a surprise, and I'm expecting another one from Stitches and Cream, which I'm really looking forward to. I've got the Christmas sock coming up, and I need to think about my entry for Laura Penrose's From Me to You cowl. But yeah, so I think I'm probably going to end it there. It'll be a quick video to edit, hopefully. And I'm hoping to come to you in the next 2 weeks rather than the month it's taken me to get there. I need to get better with time management. And hopefully I will have more progress done on the Guernsey Genza and a finished little Loddon baby sweater, a stripe pipe, and maybe a few accessories. I'd really like to get the accessories going. I've got a... Ooh. I forgot. I'm just going to insert it here. So for my friend's 30th, I actually knit her a cowl, which I'll insert a picture of, which was using some bulky weight yarn that I had in stash in colours like burgundy and blues and purples and stuff, which was really nice. And I had a lot of fun making it. It was dreamt out of my head. I could have potentially gotten away with making it just a little bit wider, but basically I cast on some stitches and went, yeah, that looks like that will go over somebody's head, which it does. And it's quite a snug fit, but probably be perfect for when we're playing rugby, touch rugby in the winter. So and it's quite windproof and everything. And I also cast on some mittens, which I'm going to go and get. So bear with. I'm back! Just turns out that the dog decided to have a true fest whilst I was upstairs, which is quite unlike him actually, considering Andrew's downstairs. But essentially he managed to knock one of the hats off and he started chewing on it, which was really annoying. It wasn't a hand net, so it's less annoying, but it had a reflective thread in it, which was great for me when I'm walking dog on my own in the dark. But anyway, so yeah, so talking about the cow, with that red and purpley and blacks and stuff, which you know, she really loves. I've got a picture of me wearing it. I don't have a picture of her wearing it. And then I decided, and Hayley, if you're watching, you're gonna have to stop. Yeah, I thought that she might like an assorted fingerless mitt with that, because it can get quite cold. We do play in the winter. We play on the AstroTurf, like 8 till 9. And it's normally more for fun than anything else, so we can sort of get away with wearing fingerless gloves. So this is the start of it. So these are the same colours, more or less, as the cowl, apart from the fact there was a lot more one by one, which is what's happening here. So I use a lot more one by one. I've basically used nearly all of these, so now I'm just concentrating on the burgundy, but the burgundy is the main colour that I used in the cowl, so it works. Makes sense. And I've chosen to use the Duke City mitts, which I have made before for my little sister. And I quite like these mitts because you can basically use any sort of yarn, you just got to meet gauge. So according to the gauge that I have gone for a 6.5mm needle, only because I used the 6.5 for the cowl and I know that works. And so I've cast on 24 stitches, and I've basically been, I've come to the end of the cuff basically, and I now need to start increasing for the thumb gusset. But obviously I put this on hold because I realised that I was getting sidetracked from my jumper. So yeah, so this is another whip, which I guess means that I'll still swatch the stripe pipe tonight. I'll work on the test knit hat, and then I think I've got this I can take with me to work after I've done the thumb increases. It shouldn't take me too long, and it's a really pretty colour. It's Tash yarn from Lidl that I got again when I was like 17, but I've always struggled about what to use it for, because I never had quite enough to do something, and now I've been able to get, with a mix of scraps, a cowl and some fingerless gloves, and if I have something else I might do like a little Sophie scarf, so when you're not around, because I think that'll be quite pretty. So yes, I did not finish when I said I would finish, but that is a fingerless mitt on the needles. So yeah, my dinner alarm has apparently been going off, so I need to go and have a look at that. So we're having toad in a hole, handmade with some Belgian sausages that my mama brought back from Belgium. I think they're slightly spicy. They're not the merguez though, but anyway, with some roasted potatoes, and I'll do a bit of veg, and then I can relax. So yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next 2 weeks again on Sunday, which will be the day after a polo competition, a canoe polo competition. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. I would love for you to comment or share if you really like what you've heard me talk about, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do this video in a little bit more light. At the moment I need to get my timing sorted out a little bit, but I really wanted to come and talk to you guys and also just document my knitting progress. So have a very good rest of your evening or whatever it is you're doing. I hope you made a little bit of progress in your knitting. Do tell me what you were knitting on, I'd love to know. And yeah, bye for now.